Today's guest is a stand-up comedian, veteran, and podcaster. You might know him from his online sketch comedy. Please give it up for the very funny Anthony Pappaly. Anthony, dude, thank you so much for coming on. How are you?
Thanks for having me, dude. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, this is a podcast where I kind of want to just talk about the behind-the-scenes stuff of comedy.
Yeah.
And you have been doing, I think, like some of the most like content stuff in Austin out of everybody.
I've been putting out a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and it's great. It's like high quality.
Thanks,
it's very
man.
funny, and it's like, what got you into all of that? The
Dude.
sketches. Is it you and your buddy do all of it together?
Yeah, me and my
Nico?
friend Nick Oka. He's a great comic from Baltimore. Moved out here.
Mhm.
Him and I do all that. But I've been making dumb videos since I was in junior high.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I've been doing it for a while. I studied film in college.
Where'd you go to school?
San Francisco State.
Okay. I went to, was it film school or was it like
Yeah,
a
so
real college that you studied film?
it was a real college that I studied film at.
I did the same thing.
Yeah.
And was it like mostly writing essays rather than like actually?
Yeah, so they had production classes, but they were all impacted. Like I could never get in one. Like every year, so I just took like film theory and like screenwriting classes, and then if I wanted to graduate like on time, I had to just like say goodbye to production. So I just took all those classes and then learned on YouTube. And
Well, that's the thing. I feel like I took all those production classes in college and I
Yeah.
didn't learn shit. Like I
Yeah.
feel like everything that I learned that I use now, I did myself.
yeah, I think it's almost the better way to do it because it's all trial and error, and
Yeah.
you learn the hard way.
When you look back at your early work, are you just like cringing or what?
Yeah, I have a lot of shit that I'm like, there's a there's a video out there that nobody will, I don't think anybody will find it,
Uh-huh.
but I lost the login details to that YouTube account, so it's
Yeah.
up there permanently. But it's like the worst.
What is it? What makes it so bad?
It's just like me doing like a character,
Uh-huh.
and it's just a terrible.
Yeah.
I don't even want to say. It's just
Well, dude, I did a stalk of you before the pod, and because
Okay.
I just wanted like the
Yeah.
most full picture that I could get.
yeah.
And I want to know. This is just like a really quick one, but you did a podcast all about busting nuts.
Yeah.
Whose idea was that?
I don't know. I honestly did it because I thought the name was funny. I just thought it'd be funny to do a podcast called Blast from the Past,
Yeah.
where you just talk to comics about like their early puberty stories and like growing up and
Yeah.
when they used to blast when they were like kids and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I thought
totally.
that was funny. I only did one episode with my friend Nick, but
hmm
I don't know. It might be a thing I bring up later.
What about Bits That Bomb? Is that going to come back?
It's gonna come back. I just got so busy doing sketches that I just haven't found time to shoot a pod and cut clips and
Yeah.
all that. But yeah.
So during the pandemic, I was doing a lot of stand-up. Well, before the pandemic, I was doing stand-up, and then the pandemic happened, and everything
Yeah.
got shut down. You couldn't do anything.
Right.
So I was like, I still want to like work on comedy and figure out how to like get better and whatnot. So I started like this challenge where I would write a joke every single day,
Mm-hmm.
but in order to keep me like honest, I would post it on Instagram. And I just bombed. I just learned how to bomb online.
It's just like you talking head, just talking.
They were like monologue jokes, like Jimmy Fallon
Mm.
Tonight style monologue.
Okay.
Like, I'll give you an example. One of them was like, there's a new area of Poland that recently named itself an LGBTQ free zone. It's
Mhm.
called Boston.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
stupid one-liner jokes. And it
Sure.
was just like a way of practicing.
Yeah, for sure.
But dude, I fucking ate a dick. Like, and it's so embarrassing because it was like before I really got into comedy. So all the people following me are just like my high school buddies and everything,
Yeah.
and like girls you tried to hook up with in
Sure.
school. And I think that although it was like embarrassing and negative, it
Yeah.
really helped me
Sure.
get over that hump.
Yeah.
Because it is a big hump, I think, putting yourself out there, writing sketches. Because not only with the sketches, you'll go costumes, you'll go
Yeah.
full out.
Yeah, it's crazy.
How
Dumb.
did you get over the idea of like, I don't know what the word is, like just the anxiety maybe from bombing
Yeah.
and on the internet, which like you said
Yeah.
is permanent now.
For sure. I mean, I think it's like it's like stand up. Like you go up there, you bomb. We
But
go
it's different. Stand up is you bomb in the moment
Sure.
and it's over.
up, right.
No one can send your bomb to another person.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
true.
It's like you have to be there.
But it's like, I mean, that's like the world of like putting out content online. Like you put something out at bombs and you just have to be okay with it. It's like the same practice of like bombing on stage,
Yeah.
being okay with it. I mean, like you said, it's a little different. People can share your bomb a million
Yeah.
times, but I don't know. It's the only way you're gonna learn.
Yeah, that's
I
a
guess,
good point.
you know, like I have so many dumb videos and characters that I've done that get no views, and I look crazy. I look like a crazy person.
Yeah.
But all that, led me to where I'm at now, where I'm like, I put out a video and it does somewhat decent online. And
Did it take a lot to like keep that momentum going? Like, how do you motivate yourself to keep doing that? Because comics, by and large, I think are lazy.
yeah,
But you're a fucking workhorse.
I don't know, man. Like, I guess with the sketches, like I've been doing videos for so long, like all the recent video success has only happened this past year. Like I've been doing videos forever.
Yeah.
And I would post it. It would get like, 50 likes, 100 views here. And I'd be like, all right, whatever. This is what it is. But I don't know. I loved it, I guess.
Do you want to be like a filmmaker?
I honestly, that's why I studied film. I loved movies growing up. My parents owned a movie store, a video store.
That's
when I was
sick
a kid.
as fuck.
So every
Did you work in it?
I mean, I didn't like work, but like people would come in and be like, hey, where's this movie? And I knew exactly where everything was.
Yeah.
And and then every new release I saw, and we'd watch movies in the shop all the time. And
So who are your guys? Who are your influences?
I don't know, man.
Is that too hard?
It's tough. I like a lot of I like a lot of everything. I guess like I like Wes Anderson. I like Tarantino. I like Scorsese. I like.
I was
all this
watching
stuff.
a Wes Anderson movie last night.
Yeah.
The Wonderful Life of Henry Sugar. And I think Wes Anderson's one of my favorite directors. But the problem with Wes Anderson is like when I watch it, I don't get engulfed in the story. It's more like when you go to a museum and you're like, that's beautiful. I enjoy this. But like, I'm not
captured by the story.
I'm not wrapped up in it.
Sure.
How do you feel?
I guess that's a good way to put it. Like it's more like a spectacle.
Yeah.
Wow, look at the colors and how he framed this.
Saturation. The scene, and like also the way that it moves and the tempo and everything.
Sure.
But so one of the things that I find the most difficult with filmmaking, video making, sketches, all that is like kind of like creating your own style.
Yeah.
I guess because there's aspects of like a Wes Anderson that I just love so much.
Sure.
But then I don't want that like art piece vibe. You know what I mean? I want people to kind of just like get lost in it.
Sure.
Do you ever struggle with that? Like, you went to film school. I mean, you got that in you, right?
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that?
I don't know. I always people always talk about that. Like, you got to find your own style. You got to like have your own like voice. And I think it's just something you naturally figure out over time of just doing the thing.
Yeah. Same with stand up.
Yeah. I mean, I've tried like stand up. I've tried to do like one-liners. I've tried to do like long stories. I don't know. You just kind of figure out what works for you, and you start going that way.
Do you feel like you have a good understanding of your voice?
No, I don't think so.
What about like creating the videos versus stand up? Is there one you feel more comfortable?
I think I feel more comfortable doing like videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have more control?
I have more control. I can take my time. I can play around with ideas differently. Stand up, it's like I'll have an idea and then I have, a few minutes on stage to kind of figure it out. And then I'm like, well, fuck, that didn't work. And then when's the next time I get to really try that? I got to wait a whole nother day or wait till I go to another show or something.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel more in control with like sketches and filmmaking, but I don't know. But that's why I love stand up because it's so much more challenging, I think.
You find it harder?
Yeah, I think stand up's way harder.
Interesting. How come?
I don't know. It's just like, it's kind of like you said, like Wes Anderson, like you can make something beautiful and not, maybe capture an audience through story or something. Or I just think working visually is so much easier than like writing a joke that everybody vibes with and then performing it.
I love stand-up comedy. It's one of my favorite art forms.
Sure.
And I think it's so difficult to do. So when I say this next part, don't get confused. But I've seen a homeless guy walk into the creek, go up on an open mic, and kill.
Yeah.
I've never seen a homeless guy take a camera, frame a shot, edit it properly, and make it work.
Sure.
That seems like there's so much more technical difficulty and there's so much more of a bigger jump, like barrier to entry.
Yeah. But that's the thing with like stand-up. Like a guy with no experience could just walk up off the street and go crush. But then I could spend like 2 days trying to figure out this joke and it bombs.
Yeah, exactly.
No matter how much work. But filmmaking, you can't walk off the street and go like make a film, but you can teach anybody to kind of like how to work a camera and this and that,
You could teach them the skills.
You can teach them the skills, yeah.
I don't know if the hard part about filmmaking to me is like the hours of time that you have to put in, which is similar to stand-up.
Sure.
but it's actually very similar because it's very solo, isn't it? Like when you're editing, you're editing by yourself.
Yeah.
Until when? Like fucking midnight, just and you're doing it. You're like, oh, this is all for one dick joke. Like all the, you know what I mean?
It's brutal.
Like you can't really dip your toe in stand up.
Yeah, I mean you can, but you're not gonna.
But it's kind of like disrespectful to everybody else.
Sure, you're like, that's a guy who just comes out once a month. And,
you're like, and to expect like, oh, I want to get booked. You're taking time away from other people. It's just shitty, especially like I like being a part of the stand-up world, like the community. So if I just think that would fuck with me. But like, I mean, you're a married dude. You have a job. It's a lot of time to do both. And I don't know how you do both.
It's a lot, yeah. I'm tired.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, like I do. I took a break this week. Like I got asked to do some shows. I'm like, I really don't want to. Like, I'm tired. Like we'll shoot like a sketch. It takes like 2-3 hours to shoot a 1-minute video, and it takes like 4, 5, 6 hours to edit the way we like it.
Yeah.
So I'm like doing that, staying up late, and then working full time, and then dividing time with my wife. And
that's another thing comics don't really get is like you gotta put time in with the wife.
Yeah, I mean all these comics are like single or just like just dating, and I don't know, when you're married you're like there's like a more of a commitment, and I'm like,
well, it's also because you're like committed to your wife.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I know a lot of guys that are like, dude, I was married, I still did stand up every night, and I'm like, yeah, and you're divorced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
like,
want to make this
your
work.
ex-wife hates you.
Yeah, but she's like, also got to find somebody who's pretty understanding. She like I mean, she sees the hard work and she appreciates it, and she lets me, go out, do shows, and as long as I find time for her and every week, and that's my only job is to make sure I have time.
Yeah.
So,
do you think you're gonna have kids?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
soon.
So. Not soon. Maybe a couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's awesome. I became a dad 2 months ago.
Yeah,
it was the greatest thing that's ever happened.
Yeah,
to me.
it's so awesome, man.
But like that's another example of just like time,
Sure.
And now I think that I have a kid, all of my time has to be so much more intentional. You know what I mean? So like I still have all of these ideas and these projects that I want to do, but like,
how do you prioritize it?
Dude, I don't know. I'm still trying to figure out that balance.
Do you say no to a lot more things now?
I think when you have kids like that, no one asks you as much.
They just assume.
Yeah, like I would be asked in the past, like, hey, you want to come film a sketch with me? And it's like, I know that this is like no one really, how can I put it? They're not going to put even the level of effort in. It's like when you're like, oh, do you want to go film a sketch? And then they show up and everybody smokes a joint beforehand and you're like, oh, nothing's getting done.
Yeah.
So I don't really get asked that as much anymore because I think everyone sees me kind of running around.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's like, I'm really excited with the way that the Austin comedy scene is moving because I think a lot of stand-ups are kind of more focusing a lot more of their energy on how can we kind of build an audience and make all this online content.
Sure.
Have you always had that like in your mind as like a goal of like, oh, I'm going to just be a content guy always?
No,
not
at all. I mean, like I kind of like during the pandemic, I kind of quit comedy. Like
really?
I was doing stand-up for a while and then I quit because I was like,
and you were in Florida?
I was in New York at the time.
Oh, okay.
So I was stationed in New York. I was still in the military, and then COVID hit. And COVID hit right when I moved to New York. So I was like, fuck. Everything was closed. People were doing like open mics in the park. I was like, this sucks.
Rooftops and shit.
And then New York is such a daunting scene. And then for the fact that everything is like outside and spread out, I was like, I'm not going to develop here. The only people who were doing well were like people who were posting on social media, and I kind of hated it at the time. I was like, I don't want to make content or make weird videos. My videos weren't doing great, so I didn't think they were going to blow up or anything. So I was like, I don't really care, and I kind of quit. And then once the restrictions kind of lifted and I moved to Florida, I started doing more stand-up. I was like, all right, I'll get back into stand-up. And I started getting back into videos, and then only when I moved here did the videos kind of take off.
And where are you from?
California originally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself like in a Hollywood situation? Like, would you want to be doing that kind of stuff?
I don't know. I mean, I'm open to like, I don't know, like a lot of comics like write on a TV show or.
I think that's dying.
I also think that's dying too.
I don't think that's happening anymore. I think that if you want to like, the way the world seems to be moving is just do it yourself, or at least do it yourself until you prove to people that it'll work, and then they'll give you money to do it yourself.
Yeah, I don't even know any sitcoms that are out right now.
I mean, Tires, I guess.
Yeah, but that's not even like a major network kind of thing.
But that's the thing. Major networks aren't the only major network buying comedies is like CBS.
Yeah. And I couldn't tell you a single CBS.
Yeah, I mean, Comedy
yeah.
Central's basically dead.
Yeah. I don't know. I would like to. There's something about like old Hollywood that I love.
Mm-hmm.
I just know that that's kind of going away, but I don't know. I wouldn't mind working in the film industry.
Yeah. The problem with the film industry is like have you ever done any like film gigs?
No.
They're long days.
Sure. Do you do like PA stuff?
Yeah, I did. I worked at a production company when I first graduated, and it was just like minimum 12-hour days.
Yeah.
And you're living in New York. Well, I was living in New York, so it's like so expensive. So you're working 6 days a week.
What were you doing? You're like running coffee and getting food, or
dude, I wish that I was running coffee. They had me fucking driving a box truck with all the lighting equipment through like the Lower East Side of Manhattan. It's a 10-foot truck, and everyone's like, "Fuck you! I know that you're gonna stop, so they'll just cut me off and everything."
That's crazy. And
it's just like, I don't know. I think working on a lot of those bigger budget stuff made me like really hate the process of it all. And there's a big part of me that's like very anti-establishment because of it. Like I don't want
to work for like a big studio.
I don't want industry, and I know that that's like a bad thing, right? Like I think that's probably negative. I think you should be willing to be open, but I'm just like, go fuck yourself. And I haven't even really had anyone like give a bad experience or personal bad experience.
Why did you study film? What?
I love movies, dude.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to it. And like my wife is a hippie, so she's one of those like if she had it her way, we wouldn't have a TV in the house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she actually just made me move the TV from the living room into like our second bedroom, which is like my office.
Yeah.
So she can just close it and doesn't have to hear it.
Interesting.
But I'm addicted. Like I love movies.
Yeah.
Dude. And I've always wanted to make movies, but I always wanted I don't know. I'm all over the place today. I think I've done too much talking, but it's just like I get excited about this stuff because I love stand-up, but like stand-up I don't know if it would make sense for what I want to do anymore, right? Yeah. Because I want to have a family, and you can't really be on the road every weekend if you have a family.
Yeah.
Because you're missing a big percentage of their life, you know?
A lot. I don't know. I think you could, I mean, you could kind of tailor it to what you want to do. Like, do you know Chad Daniels?
Great comic, hilarious.
He like never moved to like LA or New York, and he lived, I forget where he lived, somewhere in the Midwest, I think, and he has like 2 kids, and I don't know. I think he could make it work. It might not be the ideal.
But I mean, just this, like, I just got offered this gig a couple days ago, and it ended up falling through. But like, I was nervous about leaving my daughter for 2 weeks. Yeah. I didn't want to do it. I was kind of like hoping that something happened where it would not work out.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the big reason where I'm just like, maybe this isn't it anymore.
Sure.
But like, I don't know. What are your like goals? What do you want to do? What gets Anthony up in the morning?
I just want to make money doing something around comedy.
Yeah. Is it comedy or is it creativity?
That's tough because I love comedy so much.
Yeah.
I mean, I think down the road, and it kind of happens with like guys who do like comedy filmmaking, like Judd Apatow or God, why can't I think of his name? His old partner. He used to
Seth Rogen?
Not Seth Rogen. The other
Paul Feig?
No, God. I feel so stupid. I can't think of his name. The other director kind of started doing more serious movies.
Oh, you're not. So Judd Apatow wasn't his partner. You're thinking Adam McKay.
Adam McKay and Will Ferrell. Yeah. A lot of those guys kind of like mature into more mature stuff outside of even like actors like Seth Rogen and all those guys. They kind of do more serious stuff outside of comedy. But I don't know. Comedy was always like the start for me.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. But I creative. I think I would just miss comedy if I just did something plainly creative.
Yeah.
But I just want to make money doing comedy stuff, like either stand-up or making sketches.
And you think you could be on the road every weekend, no problem?
I don't know if I could, but it's kind of the life.
I mean, that is the life, right? And it's like we're at the point where, you're getting a lot more successful now, and you have to make these decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm in a similar position where it's like, do I want to be on the road all the time? Do I want to be... Because like one of the cool things about filmmaking is you can still travel.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like, look what Sandler does. He's like, I want to go on vacation to Hawaii. He writes a movie in Hawaii. That's fucking awesome.
It's insane.
I think that I have a feeling that smaller budget things are going to become a lot bigger. Kind of like how indie filmmaking was bigger in the 90s.
Sure.
And I just think that like with the generation of all of this AI and everything, the studios are gonna die. I don't see that Hollywood behemoth working in the same way anymore. People aren't going to the movies.
Right.
They're not really even having the attention span anymore.
Yeah,
kids don't watch movies. They don't want to be actors. They want to be YouTubers.
I know, it kind of sucks.
Yeah?
Yeah, it kind of bums me out.
How come?
I don't know, because I don't know, I love the movie theater culture. I loved, like, blockbuster culture, like going out on a Friday night, picking a DVD and taking it home and watching it. I loved, my parents owned a DVD store, so I just grew up around DVDs, but I don't know. I miss that, I guess. Like, I used to go to the movie theater, like, every week.
Yeah, I did that as well. I loved the movies, and I still love the movies. Sure. Every every time around the Oscars, I'll go, and I'll wake up at like 8 a.m., and I'll be at the first movie of the day. Dang. And I'll hide like 6 or 7 Barks root beers on me.
Yeah.
And then I plan it all out so I can watch every single movie that's like up for Best Picture
in one day.
Dang. And I'll drink 1 root beer per movie, and I'll leave it as a calling card.
Nice.
It's so stupid, but it makes me laugh.
That's funny.
But like one of the things I think is interesting about this YouTuber thing is it's changing from like movies are great and we love movies, but they're very much like there's a format to them, right? Sure. Like you need 3 acts, you need this. And I think that like we're kind of moving towards more of like this free-flowing weird creative thing where you can do really whatever you want on YouTube. Like you don't have any parameters.
Sure.
And I'm curious as to where that brings comedy and just art in general.
Yeah. I don't know. It's real interesting because it's like, I don't know. People do have like shorter attention spans, but also like the top podcast in the world, he puts out like a 3-hour podcast and people listen. Like, I think people will gravitate to what they like and listen to what they like. That's why, like, I agree with you when you say like you think the big movie studio system's probably gonna die. Because, I don't know, filmmaking is more accessible to everybody now than it has ever been. And, I don't know, you can get a cinema-grade camera for, like, nothing comparatively to, like, when we grew up.
I mean, your iPhone has more megapixels than anything Hitchcock ever used.
For sure. It's crazy. And, I don't know. YouTube seems to be a great platform for long-form and short-form. I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if more indie films just come out on YouTube and...
Yeah, but not only indie films, like I'm curious as to like what kind of ideas people have. Like one of the things that I've been thinking a lot that would be so cool is like, is there a way of like making short form narrative on Instagram?
Oh, so there's I'll have to give you the name. There is this guy, he's basically doing a movie on Instagram and he only puts out a minute at a time. It's kind of like a TV show, less like a movie, but each reel is like an episode, and it's
Is it Greg who lives in LA?
No. Is that the guy's name?
Maybe there's a show called Greg from LA with 800-pound gorilla that's similar to that.
Oh no, that's not what the show's called. My memory's so bad these days. I can't remember, but it's like this guy falling in love with his ex again, and they kind of like rekindle in each episode. They're like in a different scene, and but it's on Instagram, and they have a huge following now. And
see, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
I saw this thing the other day where this dude, he like was in prison and then like he escaped from prison.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell if it was real or not.
Really?
Because it was like dog shit quality and it's like this weird looking white guy with a bald head and just hair on the side.
Yeah.
And like they climb under a fence and it's like him and 6 other guys that look like prisoners and they just start fucking running.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's the whole video.
Dang.
Yeah, and it kind of just got me going like, oh, I feel like this could change so many things in terms of like the possibilities. Like if you don't know if it's real or not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird things you could do like that. But yeah, this thing that I saw was the first time I've seen anything like that, like somebody putting out a series on Instagram through Reels. And it's really well shot. They shoot it vertically, like it's for social media.
Yeah.
But it's like they have lighting and sets and they're like out and about, and acting's really good in it. It's pretty wild.
Do you like that idea or no?
It's interesting.
As a person that grew up on movies, or do you like, no, I want a movie. I like the format. I grew up on this format.
I think it's a cool concept. I wouldn't want that to be what everybody starts doing.
How come?
I don't know. Because I just feel like it takes away from I don't know, putting out an actual like great film. Like I'm hoping that guy's doing that as like a proof of concept to get like funding and make a feature film one day.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's cool, but I don't know if I love it. I don't think I would put it above traditional cinema.
Like I said, all these young kids, they want to be YouTubers.
Yeah.
And like I imagine there's a lot of kids that follow you that are just like, oh, I want to do what Anthony's doing. You
Maybe.
know what I mean? I want to
know.
make silly movies like that. And when you watch your videos, you can tell how much you love movies. Just like, you know, the Good Will Hunting spoofs and all that. But I don't know, man. I just like, I feel like the way the internet's going, everything's gonna change, especially with AI. Like we're not gonna know what's real,
yeah.
or like, was this even made by a human?
Yeah. What do you like that, or are you scared of it?
I think I've gotten to the point where it's not like it. I don't love it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like recently with all this AI stuff, I've been learning a lot more about it, and I'm kind of like sold that we live in a simulation.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I hate thinking about it.
Because it's scary. You don't want that to be the case.
Right. I'm hoping what happens is just like the same way people today appreciate when they're like, oh, this is handmade. You're like, oh, wow, that's nice.
Oh, that's how you think non-AI stuff's going to be?
I hope films are like that. They're like, oh, this film is like a man-made film.
Yeah.
Kind of like how Nolan does like practical special effects still. You're like, oh, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
I hope that's what the future is like. Yeah, sure, there's AI stuff, and then there's like a group of people who are still committed to being like, nah, I'm making this by hand.
Yeah.
Shows like human creativity and all that. I don't know. I think I would appreciate that.
I just hope we don't get to the point where a camera's like a record player and you're like, okay, look at this douchebag with the camera, you know?
That's going to hurt.
That is going to hurt, dude.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, okay, let's take a family photo. They're like, Dad, come on. We'll tell AI who was there and they'll mock it up later.
I know. It's scary.
Yeah.
We'll see. But
do you think that, are you afraid of AI taking your job as a podcast producer?
It can't. I mean, this job is not like my passion. So if it
sure,
if
but
it happens, like this job, I kind of don't even really have like a podcast producer job. Like my studio, we have software that they built that auto switches the camera, so I don't even.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't have to sit there and like manually switch or do anything. It like picks up the audio levels from each mic and then tells the cameras when to switch.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's already
AI's already taking your job.
Kind of there, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. They say they're like, AI's not going to take your job, but someone that uses AI will.
Yeah, I've heard that.
And I'm a editor, so what I do is my job is I make TikTok ads for HVAC companies.
Yeah.
I just use AI completely.
For sure.
My whole job is just AI.
Yeah.
So I'm learning a lot more about it, and it's like, oh, it's great because it's so helpful.
Yeah.
But like the other day, I asked ChatGPT, I said, if you were going to take over the world, how would you do it? And then it just like went through, and you're like, oh, this is happening.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, I would make myself so useful that nobody would argue. You know, you would make me be in charge rather than me trying to take power.
Interesting. Yeah. That's kind of crazy.
It is crazy, right? It's like, I'm just going to become so ubiquitous that you beg me to take control.
Yeah. It's scary because I use ChatGPT a lot and I can't imagine not using it now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's ingrained in my workflow with everything.
And people act like that's wrong. I don't think that's wrong either.
I don't know. I think
people were angry with the idea of writing on tablets because they said it was going to ruin your memory. And it did.
Yeah.
Are we going to not write on tab? You know what I mean? Like, you kind of have to go with it or die.
Yeah.
And I don't like the tech people. The tech people freak me the fuck out.
The
ones that are like very much not on board with humanity.
Yeah. If everyone's using it, I feel like I'm kind of obligated to use it just to stay afloat.
Yeah.
But I would honestly, I was watching, have you seen the movie Sideways?
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti.
Yeah, great. With the wine one, right?
I'd never seen it, and I love that the director. Because I watched the Holdovers, and I was like, oh, I want to see more of this guy's stuff. So I watched it with my wife just a few days ago, and the time period where this movie takes place, I'm like, that was like I wish we could all as a society just be like, let's give up technology to live in this time period.
What, like the 90s?
I think it was like right after 9/11.
Oh, okay, early 2000s.
Early 2000s. I don't know. Just it felt like the right amount of technology
Mm-hmm.
to like be connected to everybody, but also not like fuck your life up.
Well, that's before dating apps. That's before, you know. It's strange because like all of the things that I think came after that were meant to bring us closer, but have only ever put us farther apart from one another. You know,
social
media, dating apps,
Yeah.
texting.
Yeah. I don't
I
know.
guess it was texting before, but
I was watching that movie and I was like, that's if I would be cool with if everybody agreed, like, all right, no AI. Everyone in the world's like, we're just gonna destroy it. We tried it, it was cool, but it's too much.
yeah.
Let's not use it. If everybody like signed like
It's kind of like Pandora's box though, right?
Yeah.
Once it's out, it's out.
it's out.
Now, do you think that what's next for Anthony? Like you're doing all these sketches, you're just gonna keep banging out sketches every week? Or are you
Yeah. Pretty much. Like we want to start doing more long form stuff. Everything we do is for Instagram, so it's like usually under 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We want to do more long form. We shoot vertically. Like I never thought I'd just shoot constantly vertically, but we shoot everything vertically. I want to shoot like more traditional stuff and maybe make like a short film.
That's cool.
Do more
How
of
do you
that.
like, as a sketch guy, how do you like looking at Josh and Spencer's project off at their heads?
Oh, it's so cool because
cool.
I was talking to Josh and he like hired a sound guy and a DP and an editor, and I'm like, that's pretty cool.
Well, that's one of the things that I realized is very important. And Josh was the one that put me onto that. And it's like, you have gotten to the point in your career where everything you've done, you've basically done on your own, right?
Sure,
You're the director, you're the
Right.
camera operator, you're the writer, you're the sound guy, you're everything.
Yeah,
And that's good that you learned how to do that because now you know how to talk that way.
sure.
But I think that it is important as you get bigger and like you're doing more projects or like larger budget projects
Yeah,
to like delegate a little
For
bit. Because
sure.
it's too much work on you otherwise.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You know,
It's-
and like I think people's ego gets into it a lot where like they grew up listening to Louis C.K. go like, yeah, I write, direct, and I edit all my own
I know, he
projects.
was editing Louis on his MacBook,
And then he just breaks the MacBook afterwards. And you're like, okay, Louis, but like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's great for you, but you're like a talent of a generation.
yeah,
And I think a lot of people want to be that because they've heard that so much. And
Sure.
it does hold them back for sure.
right.
Like we did Waitresses, like a mini series,
Mhm.
a web series for Some of This Is Bad. We just used our Patreon money, which was really cool.
Yeah,
But like we did the same thing. We hired sound guys, we hired like camera operators, and it
Yeah.
just made everything so much better.
sure. You can just kind of focus on.
Yeah, everybody focuses in on what they're supposed to do. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
even with this podcast right now, right? Like, I had to waste your time for like 10 minutes when you first got here because I'm checking the lights and I'm doing this. Whereas, like, I would rather just be able to sit down and kind of like be in the conversation with you.
For sure. Yeah.
But how do you feel about that?
I don't know. We're kind of like. I feel like we're growing to that point. I still enjoy every part of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I also me and Nick talk about like hiring an editor because I absolutely hate editing.
Yeah.
But I also feel like I don't know. It's hard to like let go of something that you've kind of like built yourself, and you're like, oh, we edited this way. We have like a very particular way of doing stuff in particular
Talk to me about that.
takes, and I don't know, like So every sketch we shoot, me and Nick sit and edit it together, and I don't know. We talk about how we would convey to like an editor. I guess we have to find an editor who gets comedy, I guess, you know?
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of the comedy in our stuff sometimes comes in like the way we cut or like where we focus on something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you can just trust any editor. I feel like you have to find somebody who knows comedy in a
Yes.
way.
Yeah.
At least if like you're doing something specific like comedy.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I think a good example of that is like, have you seen any of the OnlyFans tapings?
I mean, I haven't like religiously watched them, but I've seen clips.
But not
from,
even
yeah.
like clips of it. Meaning, like, were you at the creek when they do those OnlyFans tapings? Or no. So the way they do it is they bring in a director from LA
Mm-hmm.
who does whatever commercials or whatever,
Sure.
and they bring a whole bunch of lights and they light it as professionally as possible.
Yeah.
Ton of lights in the front. Everyone's front row. You can see the 3 rows back.
Jeez.
That's not how stand-up
Yeah.
works. And so everything's thrown off, and it feels like that when you watch it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think that's why in order to do a stand-up special, you have to like know comedy. You have to
Sure.
watch stand-up.
Yeah.
And none of these people do. And that's why it's so obvious that it just feels off.
Yeah.
And I imagine your sketches are a lot like that. You know, you said you have your own voice and you clearly have like the way you guys do jokes.
Sure.
But I do think that maybe why not just like bring an editor to sit with you guys while you edit?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like the plan. We're gonna find somebody eventually, but there's like hesitation or like, I don't know, if we bring somebody and we have to end up editing it ourselves anyways, kind of thoughts. But I don't know. I really like what Josh is doing, and I mean their stuff looks so good.
Yeah,
like it looks like it's ready to go on like Netflix. Like you could pitch it to like a streamer or something.
Yeah, totally.
But
do you think that how much do you think production value plays in like the content game online?
I don't know, because you'll see like guys just doing like shitty TikTok, Snapchat, green screen background stuff.
Yeah.
And it's pretty funny and it like blows up.
Yeah.
And then you'll see like highly produced stuff and it'll blow up too or not. I mean, I think there's still a lot of weight on writing and performance.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think you can put out something super well written and funny and it'll blow up with shitty production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Do you think how do you know when you did something good?
How do I know?
Yeah.
Like when I put something out?
Yeah, do you know before you get a response or do you know only based on the response?
I mean, we have an idea. It's been a few times where we were like, oh, this one's going to blow up and it didn't really like do great, but I don't know. Before I put anything out, I want to make sure I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I don't like it, then I'm like, all right, I don't really want to put it out. I really want to like be in love with whatever I put out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it's been so far. Everything we put out, for the most part, I love.
Do you scrap a lot?
Yeah, we shoot a lot and then we cut a lot of shit out.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
but like,
have I scrapped ideas?
Yeah. Like whole concepts.
There's been a few.
Yeah.
Not a lot. Right before we shoot, we make sure we want to do this.
Sure.
And if we're not in love with it, we're like, let's wait. Let's figure it out more. But we've scrapped a few where we're like, we like the idea, we shot it, and we're like, maybe we don't have a good take on this.
And do you write together, or do you each write and then you're like, I got an idea?
Sometimes we write together. Sometimes it'll be like Nick's idea. Sometimes it'll be my idea, but we both help like punch it up and riff. So if you see something like Nick posts and I'm collabing on it, like Nick mostly wrote that. Something I post, I mostly wrote that. But we're both thrown out plenty of ideas to make it feel like both of ours. And
one of the things that I always found very difficult was like finding a group of guys to work with.
Dude, when I was in high school, I wanted to shoot so much stuff, and I was like, I'll just use my friends.
Yeah.
And every time we went to shoot, it would be like I was the only person taking it seriously or really cared, and I was like, this sucks. They don't have the same vision or the voice I'm looking for, and I think honestly that's why a lot of the success of the videos recently is because Nick and I, we've been friends for a while. We both have very similar comedic tastes and voices, and I don't know, it just kind of clicked.
Yeah.
And I don't know, when people are like, yo, do you want to write a sketch? I'm like, I don't know.
Well, I imagine that is happening a lot more now with you because your stuff looks so good that a lot of comics are like, oh, I'll just tell my idea to Anthony and then he'll make it happen.
I do get a lot of ideas. And I don't know, some of them are great and I'm sure they'd be good, but it's like I've kind of gone through the ringer of like working people I'm not familiar with, and then it never really works out. And so I'm like, I'll just stick to what I know. And
yeah. You have any horror stories?
Yeah, but I can't say anything.
Okay.
Just because the scene is so small and
yeah, I doubt anyone's gonna fucking listen to this, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like you said, when you were working with your friends, if your friends aren't really into it, it's hard. Plus, especially with comics, just getting them to show up on time is impossible.
Yeah, comics are kind of unpredictable and
yeah. The one thing that I loved about working with comics, unlike film people, is when I was in film school, and tell me if you got this a lot, I heard all the time, dude, I have such a great script. If only I had a budget. Yeah. Like, you really don't need a budget. You know what I mean? Like, you should be able to work around it.
Yeah.
But then comics, like, have such little self-esteem that they're like, no one would ever give me a budget.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So they're willing to do things for cheap.
For sure. I don't know. It's fun working with comics because comics kind of, I don't know, like comics, like you have a love for film and a background in film. there's a lot of comics who are like just naturally great actors, and I mean they're so funny. They can riff. Comics are like the best people. They're hard to work with.
Once they're there, it's great.
Yeah.
But getting them there is a problem.
On an administrative level, they're a nightmare because you're like messaging them, you're like trying to get them to come. But once you're like on the creative side, it's so fun working with comics. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think I think one of the things that's been good is podcasting does make people a little bit more reliable, I guess.
Sure.
Or at least maybe easy to determine who's the reliable ones.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, that person does a podcast every week. They know how to show up on time.
Yeah, they have a routine. They can. They've got it figured out. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
So you mentioned wanting to shoot a short film. Do you think if you shot a short film, it would be like to use to get money for a bigger film, or do you have any ideas that you're like, oh, this is just gonna work in a smaller format, like a short, not as long?
Maybe both. I mean, me and Nick are kind of writing a feature script.
That's cool.
And we're like, if we can't shoot the whole thing. It's kind of out of our league to shoot the whole thing, at least right now. Mm-hmm. But we do want to shoot a portion of it as like a proof of concept. Pitch it later or something. But
I mean, you don't have to tell me the idea, but is comedy?
Yeah, it's a comedy. It's about like a high school reunion.
Oh, cool.
But
they're making a new American Pie.
Are they?
Yeah, it's American Funeral. Stifler's mom dies. R.I.P.
The whole same cast.
Yeah, I think so.
It's crazy.
But yeah, I mean, is it hack to be like there's no good comedy movies out now, and that's one of the reasons that I think that the studios are going to die. I want someone like you and Nick. Is it Nick or Nico?
Nick.
Okay, Nick.
Yeah.
I want guys like you and Nick to make movies
for sure
for cheap, because that doesn't mean that they're bad. I mean, look at Napoleon Dynamite. That was a fucking dog shit budget, and it was great.
Funny.
You know what I mean? Same thing with, have you ever seen The Foot Fist Way?
Yeah, it's so good.
Great, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want a lot more of that shit happening. I want Tim Dillon to take some of that Patreon money and make a movie.
For sure. Have you seen, it just came out, Friendship?
I heard it's great.
It's really good.
You saw it?
Yeah, I saw it. I just saw it recently. It's really funny. It feels like a very long sketch.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, because it's kind of just, it's just a character.
Yeah.
Like you would see like on a sketch video, but you see him for an hour and 20 minutes or something.
Yeah.
But
Tim Robinson's a really cool dude.
He's so funny.
And the fact that he can be successful now is really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he wouldn't have worked in the 90s.
No, I don't think so.
Or the early 2000s.
Yeah.
He needed more normal. And it's like, now we got guys like him. We got guys like Nathan Fielder.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, have you seen The Rehearsal? It's
yeah, I haven't watched the latest one, but yeah.
But it's like, even the idea of it is like, how the fuck did this get made?
I know, it's insane.
But that's fun. I think that that's really cool. Plus, like, Patreon is offering a lot more people different opportunities of like gaining their audience.
Sure.
So like, one of the things that I'm really conscious of is I don't really care about like going viral or like making it huge.
Sure.
I just kind of want 1,000 true fans.
Sure.
Because if you can get that, you can live a good life.
Sure.
1,000 people across the world that are willing to pay me $100 a year.
Yeah.
It's $100,000.
Yeah.
That's a good living.
That's pretty sweet. And
to do dick jokes on camera.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome. You want to hear the rest of this conversation? The second half is waiting over on my Patreon at patreon.com/thejimmyclifford. I'll see you there.